Sometimes when we are looking at things, like it seems to be that we just sort of look out straight ahead. And so I thought it might be kind of fun to do a drawing where we looked from a different perspective. And so we're going to do it today using, all you're going to need is your color crayons. If you have oil pastels, you could use those. And of course with my color crayons, I've got my little container so the ones I'm working with don't run away, roll off my working surface. White paper, any kind of white paper will do. I'm Miss Therese and we're going to get started. Welcome to Art with Miss Therese. I picked out some of the colors I thought I'd kind of like to use on this picture, and I was kind of thinking, I'm going to start with this blue and do my little border. Remember, you can make a straight line by keeping the heel of your hand down on your paper. I like to turn mine and just pull. But you can do the border with a ruler. You could leave the border off. I just sort of like them. I was thinking about having this picture be from a different viewpoint and maybe be in the winter. And since I have so much white paper here, white paper space, I might be taking advantage of that paper space that's white and maybe using it for maybe a snow scene. So I'm going to use a light blue, which is kind of sort of cool. It's kind of a cool blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do sort of a little edge of snow here. And then coming out of that snow, I'm going to have a tree, only because I am so close to this tree, it's going to be really big. There's the trunk. I'm going to have that go all the way up to the top of the page. And so that tree is off the page, but from my viewpoint, this is kind of what I'm looking at. And then maybe down here, I'm going to do another big tree trunk, only not quite as big. Wait till you see what we're going to do with this. I'm going to have that kind of going up like that. Maybe another one here. Lots of times when I'm hiking in the woods, there are really neat trails in the snow, or if I'm skiing through the woods. So there's 1, 2, 3 big tree trunks. And again, you're not going to see the ends of those trees because wait till you see what we're going to do. Now, say I'm standing on this little ledge of snow and I'm looking down. So down here, I'm going to have another tree here. And this one is going to get a little narrower here. So all we're going to be doing right now, add another maybe little snowbank there. Down here. And my trees aren't going to necessarily be really straight. I'm going to do another one here. And another one kind of down there. And I'm just drawing the trunks of these trees. Add another little line there. Kind of be patient. You might be kind of going, what is she doing? And here's going to kind of be the answer. So I'm going to do some trunks here. And I'm not doing the tops of the trees quite yet. I have maybe one coming out of the snow there. This might be kind of hard to see what we're doing, but you're going to kind of be surprised by the time we're done. And then again, I'm just using a lighter crayon here. It's kind of a winter scene, so I'm using sort of a cool blue. So I have my trunks in here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start sort of very loosely putting those branches on like this. We're not doing anything precise. Now this tree's in front here, so the tree that's way back there, those branches are going to be behind the other trees. Kind of go down here, maybe there's going to be another one way down there. Another one way down there. Maybe a few more down here. So I don't know if you can see how this is turning out yet. Take a look at that part there. I'll wait a few minutes. You can see I've just lightly put in the lines for where the snow is and where the trees are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start I'm going to start defining my tree trunks. So I'm taking a little gray here, and again, you could use this with any color that you have. And these are going to be fir trees, like Douglas fir, and so they have that kind of wavy, sort of deeply grooved bark. So I'm just going to start building those trees. I don't know if you can see that very well. But if you spend a little time outside, kind of take a look at tree trunks. It's really interesting to see the different kinds of bark that trees have, the different kinds of texture they've got on that bark, like that. So all you're doing is you're just making kind of ripply lines, sort of going up the tree like this. And again, I'm using gray. You could use any color. The whole idea is to do it dark and light. I'm going to kind of do it one down here. And then the ripply lines are going to get smaller or more narrow down here. And this is going to be one of those pictures where we're just going to be sort of building up. And if the first time it's kind of hard and you're not really happy with your results, start again. What I always like to do too is sometimes it's okay to like just watch this video the first couple of times and then do the project. These are trees that are really far away, and then we're going to do something kind of magical when we're done. But as you can see, these trees are kind of starting to sort of come to life. And I want to make this picture look kind of cold and like I'm taking a hike in the woods. I want who's ever looking at this to go, oh my gosh, maybe I might want to go down that trail. We haven't had very much snow down here this year, but I'm sure hoping that we get some. Kind of see our forest is sort of happening here, our forest in the snow, and I think maybe I'm going to get, how about this, I'm going to get a darker, might even add a little tiny bit of brown to these, just a little bit, just maybe a little bit in here, just enough to make this sort of begin to look like a forest. These are like Douglas fir trees. We have a lot of them where we live. And you might have different kind of trees where you live. And my suggestion is get out and take a look. Or look up in a book. Find a book on trees, especially for the area where you're at. So I'm just going to kind of keep coloring these trees in. The tree trunks. And as the trees get further down the hill, more of those trees you're going to be able to see more of those trees. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to find a darker color. I think I might even go for my black this time. And I'm going to, we've done this before. Layering crayons is really sort of fun and sort of satisfactory. So I'm just going to kind of emphasize that groovy bark. I guess that's what you call it. Like this. You can kind of see my trees sort of start to happen. Like this. You could pretend you're having an afternoon out and you're going on a little hike and maybe even seeing some animal tracks in this snow. We did a video with animal tracks. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you can make your own little book and take it with you so you can identify some of the animals that live in the woods. So there, that's kind of my, and here's another little trick. If I kind of emphasize a little bit where that tree is coming out of the snow, like that, kind of press down a little bit and then lighten up. That's another kind of fun little trick to maybe have things look a little bit more real. I think it's always kind of fun to make things look as real as you can. Although, if you like to do abstract stuff, that's fine too. Now, I've got some, I'm going to see if I have a darker, I've got kind of a little bit of an evergreen here. And so I'm going to kind of come in here and kind of look at how I'm doing this. I'm sort of leaving little areas of white on top of the green, and that's going to kind of indicate that there's a tree here. You can kind of outline it still, but there's snow that's maybe on top of this tree. I'm going to kind of do the same thing here and drew those kind of wiggly branches, and I'm going to have them kind of underneath here. You can see the blue on top, the way I drew that. I know some of these videos look kind of complicated, but I know that I'm doing the same thing here, just kind of emphasizing little corners. I know that you are perfectly capable of doing things like this. I might even add, look at this, I'm going to add maybe a few little more trees down here. Like that. I'm just kind of indicating it with that blue there, and then I'm going to kind of come back in. And we're just going to put a little green and pretend that there's some trees down there that have snow on top of them. Like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with my blue, and I'm going to kind of emphasize kind of near the trees where there might be a little shadow, maybe like a little snow well around these trees like this. You could kind of use a little of your crayon here just to indicate that that snow is sort of drifting around those trees like that. And all these are just real simple little lines around those trees. That's all these are. And this is just kind of a simple, fun way to pretend that you're at the top of a hill and you're looking down using, I just love them, color crayons. Maybe I'll add a few more of those wiggly little blue lines way down there. Grab that green, bring that green back in, and just add a few little green spots. You've got that tree shape, and then just kind of put those green spots sort of kind of underneath some of the white in those. And then I'm going to come back in with the blue. You could be using purple. You could even have this be an orange forest. I'm just going to just emphasize a little bit like that. And then I might come in here and just do a little bit of shading like that, just to kind of indicate that there's some sort of dips in the snow like this. And then, how about this? If I want it to look a little bit like winter and it's getting towards the end of the day, I might just, top of the page, add just a little bit of gray. Just like maybe that sun is going down a little bit. Say it's kind of an afternoon. So there I am. I'm kind of standing at the top of the hill, looking down. Oh my gosh, I should probably do a little initial here. And the year. So there you go. Using some color crayons, and I am going to put these away, I promise, so they're ready to go next time. But I like to keep them in my working tray so they don't roll away. Using just color crayons and some white paper, we did kind of a fun picture of maybe standing at the top of a hill and kind of looking down. And on a snowy day, we left a lot of the paper white because why not? It's white and then you don't have to like worry about coloring in the snow. And then we just used, honestly, just little wavy, wiggly lines, a couple colors, grays and blacks and a little bit of brown, and made them smaller as they got further away from us. And then outlined some of the trees in blue, like the snow had been there, and then just put little green spots kind of randomly sort of below the white. And so we have the illusion of being out in the forest in the snow. I hope. You take care, and I look forward to seeing you again.